Welcome to Try Not to Overthink It, where we explore the intricate landscape of mental health, well-being, and everyday life. I'm RJ.
I'm Unique.
I'm Khalil.
Join us as we dive into insightful conversations, share expert perspectives, and personal stories that shed light on the various dimensions of mental wellness. Whether you're seeking guidance, inspiration, or a deeper understanding of the human mind, this podcast is your safe space to engage, learn, and navigate the journey to a happier, healthier self. If you are new to the channel, we ask that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so that you don't miss the next topic or the next conversation that we have. So today's subject, we are going to be talking about: is it okay for you to have friends of the opposite gender when you are married?
Yes. I'm kidding.
No.
This is a topic that you see be a very contentious one that a lot of people have kind of touched upon but never really unpacked. I thought it was important for us as therapists to kind of sit down and unpack that, like what goes into the friendship, what can make it inappropriate, what can make it appropriate, and those different things to, kind of give people an insight to understand and help them better understand if it's appropriate to have a relationship of the opposite gender when you're married. I think that if you are being 100% transparent and everything is above the board, and your partner is aware of your friendships, then I think that it's appropriate. I think that where it gets a little gray and it gets a little murky and gets a little cloudy is when you start, the boundaries aren't set.
Mm-hmm.
My man Derek Jackson talked about that, of how he had loose boundaries. And because he had loose boundaries, they turned into no boundaries.
That big chest joke up in here. I'm about to say something else. Are we really talking about that man?
Yes.
The big fella?
Yes, because he was right.
Oh,
he was right. He was right.
God.
He was right. He said that, he had loose boundaries. And loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. And next thing you know, he was having conversations he wasn't supposed to have. He was places he wasn't supposed to be. He was doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing. And I think that if you have those clear delineated boundaries from the very beginning, so that everyone understands, hey, this is what this is what it's not, and your partner is aware of that, then there's not an issue of you having people of the opposite sex be your friends.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Well, I want to jump in there.
Time out.
I don't think you all are talking about platonic relationships. Like, you should be able to have a platonic relationship with a female that you've never slept with, or a male you've never slept with. If you're in a committed relationship, why can't you have a friend that you don't sleep with, that you have mutual interests? I don't get that.
First of all, people that you sleep with, are they even considered your friends?
They're not your friends, right?
They're not.
Friends.
Right there. People you're having sex with are not your friends.
We're not your friends.
Just that. Let's start the podcast with that. But before we jump down that rabbit hole, because see, what y'all just want to gloss over things, okay? You guys have to take a step back. In order to have healthy boundaries, your tail got to have some values. If you doing things and in places with people that you're not supposed to be in places with, and having behaviors that you're not supposed to have behaviors with, that's because your tail ain't got no value.
Yeah.
Okay? You ain't got no morals. Forget boundaries. You can't put boundaries on top of a moralist person. It just don't work. Okay? Those are barriers. Those aren't boundaries. If you put something on top of a non-foundation, that's like me putting walls on top of a non-foundation for a house. That trash ain't standing up.
Walls on top.
Okay? That's why they're going to be some loose walls, okay? Disjointed. If you put boundaries on top of a person who has no values or morals, baby, that is trash. And that's why you get the sensational crap we see on the internet from people every week. They switching up to be a different person. They ain't got no morals. I don't want to call no names, but we see a young lady, right? She was the internet's girl next door, okay? She was community girl. Now, sis is covered.
I know where you're going now.
Sis is covered.
I know where you're going.
Like, I am all for somebody coming to
God works in mysterious ways.
I am all for somebody coming to an awakening, right? But I'm like, God dang it, sis. Do you have the morals needed now to sustain this change?
Yeah.
If you don't, then we're gonna see it. Give it 2 years, because we're gonna see a whole nother side of you playing out something you think is relevant. That man was doing all that mess and having them affairs because he ain't had no morals.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't built on nothing. And the crazy part was with the woman, and see, I try my best. When it's starting to get messy like that, I go ahead and step away. So I didn't listen to none of his sob story interviews. I didn't listen to the wife's interview when she went on her dad's podcast. Did y'all know that? That's her daddy?
Wow. I didn't know.
I didn't.
Yeah, the man who cheated on his wife, and then he be having all of these people come on with the girl who wig slicked back.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that? That man, that's his daughter.
You're lying.
I'm not. Google it.
You're lying. I gotta
Google
Google
Yeah,
that.
research that trash.
Right.
I might be
You're lying
wrong.
too.
I might be wrong. Okay, I'll
Google
clean it
lies.
up on the
Yeah, I
next
remember that.
episode. But I am really baffled when people think that they can have boundaries and they don't have a frame of reference of which those boundaries should be anchored in.
Right.
Okay. So when we talk about having friends of the opposite sex, yo tell, before you try to have a friend of any sex, you got to have some values and some morals.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because some things just not okay. I don't care who you do it with. If you want to do hood rat things with your hood rat friends, you got to have some morals. You know what? This is a little too hood rat for me. I ain't able. I'm not able. It's a lot of people sitting in prison. You know why? Because they wanted to
Right.
do hood rat things with their hood rat friends, and they ain't had no stop button.
Right.
And their tail just went, private parts to the wall. Now they're
Well-
sitting in prison. Okay.
Well, when you talk about relationships, Unique, right? There should be an open and honest and transparent trust in the relationship. So I should be open with my partner and explain, hey, I'm friends with this person, right? This is not someone I've slept with. Now, if I'm hiding that, if I have slept with that person, I'm hiding it from my new relationship, right? Then
Mhm.
there's a problem. I'm not being open. I'm not being transparent. And I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too and keep someone on the side that I maybe might want to get with. And that's messy. That involves a whole bunch of
But
conflict.
let's just say this, right? I'm gonna argue on the side of I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Mhm.
Only because let's just say you and this person, y'all had a situation when y'all were like early 20s.
Right.
Now you're in your late 30s, 40s, mid to late 30s, 40s, and y'all ain't been back on them type of terms. It's very platonic. Like, I don't even like you like that. I don't know why I slept with you to begin with. Okay, that was a mistake. But, or even if it wasn't, I don't see you like that no more. I have more
Right.
time with you being a friend than I do with you being that. At that point, and you were honest with your mate that this is a friend because now I've established myself as a friend with this person. I'm just not going with that. I have no interest in doing that. Would
Right.
it be okay to still hang out with that person?
As long as you've been transparent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be able to tell your partner, hey, in the 20s, we used to run together. We don't do that anymore. This is just strictly my friend. If you feel worried, you can come out with us. I might not bring you every single time because then you're infringing on our friendship. But at the same time, I'm open enough that you can come hang with us. And I get it. Married people need to stick with married people. I understand that, right? So if you're married, you should go out with
But
other
your friend might
couples.
be married. The
Now,
person you used to
exactly.
bang with they might be married now. Y'all
Now-
got y'all in two different separate marriages.
Right. But now if they're not married, I can understand why people get jealous sometimes.
Yeah.
That's not love. Jealousy is not love.
But see, I
give it
disagree
to my
with I disagree with jealousy not being love. I think that everyone is entitled to their feelings. But I think that that's where you as a partner have to one, validate your partner's feelings, and then also sit down and explain to them. And even like you said, hey, we might need to go out, because the last thing you want to do is feed into people's paranoia. When you know that certain things are triggering for people. Like I used to have this conversation with my younger brother. Certain things were triggering for my dad. Coming in the house after 2:00 in the morning, that's triggering for my dad. If you can avoid an argument or a confrontation, the path of least resistance is probably the best. So let's be in the house by the time he said be in the house. That way there's no arguments, there's no back and forth, there's no you're in trouble, there's no none of that. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I think that, like you said, having that conversation with your partner, being completely transparent, putting everything out there. Hey, we when we were younger, we dated or we slept together, whatever happened, that was in the past. You are my present and my future. That's what the conversation needs to be. And then, what, now I'm not for the tracking, locate. I'm not for the extra stuff.
But that's what people do.
I'm not
That's
for
what
all
makes
that.
it easy. That's what
But
makes it easy.
because I think that at that
You
point,
don't
like
want you don't want your partner to roll up on you, Raja?
I mean, it's not that I have a problem with them rolling up on me, but if you have to low jack me, then we don't need to be together. You got to microchip me, we don't need to be together. If you got to micromanage every
That's
part
what
of
I'm
my
saying.
life,
Going back to having morals and values, right? So let me flesh that out a little bit more. When you're talking about being in a committed relationship, I want to know the type of person like that I am involved with, right? Whether it's my husband, my friends, I consider y'all my friends, you're right. But I also know I know the moral. I understand your morals and values too. Certain things y'all just not gonna do as men, right? It's just like, nah, I don't move like that. Unique. So I'm not gonna have to worry about certain behaviors coming from you. Same thing with my husband. I know my husband's morals and values, and so certain things, all right, that's just gonna be beneath them. They're not gonna do that. That's not saying people don't mess up. I'm not gonna say that. If you have morals and values,
Nobody's
you never
perfect.
gonna mess up. Nobody's perfect, right?
Right.
But even if they mess up, because they have morals and values, they're able to come back and say, whoa, nah, look, I got too far out. Maybe then the boundaries, right? I did not conduct myself in a way that would have led to healthy behavior. And so when we're talking about friends of the opposite sex, one, you got to know your own values and boundaries. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I view the world. And then I'm going to build my boundaries on that. So certain people I'm not going to align myself with, because that's just, I'm not into that sort of thing. There are women that I'm not aligning myself with because of my own values and boundaries and my morals. I just, sis, we can't associate together. So I'm not even talking about a man. And then there are some men I'm not going to deal with for the same reasons, because it has less to do with your gender for me and more about, number one, what do we have in common? Number two, how do you view the world? Right? Are we aligned in those ways? Because if we're not, unless I'm trying to win you over to what I'm doing, I don't know that I want to necessarily have you in my close circle. You might be an associate, but you're not going to be up close and personal with me. So when we're talking about that transparency, I think having, as an adult, just being mature enough to know my partner they've known people before they knew me. Right?
Right.
In knowing people before they knew me, there's going to be relationships that I might not, unless I just want to know all of the context of why you met people, how you know people. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to know all of that. If you thought somebody was cute and then you got to know them and you felt like, oh, they're still cute. I mean, nobody's blind, right? You have attractive friends that you don't want to sleep with.
Right.
But just saying, hey, this is how I operate in the relationship. And I think that's where that trust factor, it comes in, where you're like, as long as this person's intentions are above board, and we are both under the mindset that this is a friendship and that I have mutual respect for your marriage, your relationship, then we're good to go, right? Because there are going to be people who find you attractive, who, you might have a work crush right now. People will be like, oh, that's my work crush. That's my work husband. That's my work wife. And it's platonic. They're not trying to be devious about any of that. And they also have a respect for that person. Oh, they got a spouse. We've heard it before. People like, oh yeah, they got a situation. I ain't trying to, I'm not stepping on your situation. But I do enjoy spending time with you. You gotta also look at, is it just, I don't know, what brought you to be friends? Because if it's that attractiveness alone, that's a dangerous friendship.
That's a dangerous, right? That's
right. If it's just you think I'm attractive and that's the reason why you want to be connected with me, what we're building that foundation on is going to lead down a path, it's going to cross some boundaries. If we're like, okay, our kids go to school together, yeah, then we could chop it up. I don't know. For me, being married, I do have, let me think. Do I have any single male friends? I don't think I do now. Like, honestly, I think all of my guy friends that I have now are in either relationships or they're married.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're in serious committed relationships or they're married. When I got married, like the guys that I was just messing around with, I was like, oh no, we're done. They were like,
Yeah,
oh, we
cut
can't
them
talk
off.
no more? No. Right. For what? I don't have what we would talk about is irrelevant. I'm talking to my man about that stuff. Like, we're not gonna flirt. I don't want a friend that's gonna be flirting with me. For what? It's no point.
Right.
I got a man that flirts with me. I sleep with him. I married him.
Well, what you're describing is someone who's had, their experiences, and they've been able to create some healthy boundaries, all right, that are created from their morals, their values, their convictions, right? You're looking at it in a healthy way, but there's also people on the flip side, right, that when they realize that, hey, this person I'm dating already has friends, they already have, because it's normal, that person's going to have their own friend group. All right, RJ just alluded to it earlier before we started the podcast. When you meet a female or a male that says, hey, all that stuff that you knew before, right, you got to drop that.
That's dangerous.
It's only me. That's toxic. To me, that's toxic. But you meet a lot of people like that. I've met females like that. Like, you can't chop it up with nobody else.
I literally had a girlfriend like that when I was in graduate school, where I couldn't be friends with Unique because I was dating her.
Oh yeah,
and she legitimately told me I would have to pick, and I was like, well, I've known her longer than you, so I guess I'm picking her.
Now look,
it's men like that too.
Now look, I'm gonna be. I can if we put in business out there. I'll be honest. Raja and I was engaged to someone who I cut Raja off for. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I did cut him off. But I have my reasons, and I'm not gonna share them on this podcast why Raj got dismissed, because he walked out first. Let's just put it there. And I was just like, well, forget it, because nobody walks out on me. So it is what it is. Now I'm dating.
Like a true cancer in your feelings.
It was very much so. Raja played games first, and I was just like, oh, this is the game we're playing?
This is what you want to do?
You don't want to be my friend anymore. Got it. And so I was just like, I'm going to show him. And showing him landed my tail engaged to a person I should not have been engaged to.
Look at God.
But I came humbly back. And I came humbly back. It was just like, it was a lapse of good judgment. And we're better than this. So if you are still obliged to being friends, I am definitely of like-mindedness. And Rajamel knew what was good for his tail, and he was just like,
he came on back.
The boys are back in town.
I mean, I think that I think that it's important, like for us, that there's nothing wrong, like, with having that conversation. I don't want anybody, despite what we said so far, I don't want anybody to think that it's not okay to have that conversation, because there may be friendships that as the significant other of somebody, there may be friendships that you have a problem with.
You need to do your due diligence and get to know that, right? Yeah, you're bringing up a good point. This is something that, and I'm gonna tread lightly because I haven't talked to my husband about sharing this, so I don't want to, have a conversation after this one. My husband and I, like, one of the things that I share with him is I'll share my perspective. When you are married or in a committed relationship, right? And I'm talking about like you're locked in, like we're exclusive. There should not be any new friendships that pop up with people who don't know me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Not saying that I'm going to hang out with you guys, but they should know, oh, I have a partner. You will never, ever fill that space. That space is occupied.
Right.
Out the gate. So if you're not comfortable with that, then this is not the friendship for you.
Mm-hmm.
If at any given point I should be able to go and hang out with my husband's friends and feel comfortable to the point of, oh, okay, this is not somebody who is trying to make a move on my spouse. Same way with my husband. If my husband were to come on this podcast, we conduct ourselves like, fools sometimes, but he wouldn't feel threatened that none of these men are trying to like get my woman, right? He's just not gonna feel that way. Same with any of my other friendships, right? My male friendships. He's not coming in feeling threatened like he's gonna have to defend his place as my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
If your partner has to feel like, or your partner feels like they have to defend their place, that's a relationship that's got to be cut immediately.
Absolutely.
I don't care how long you've known this person, because when that happens, and I'll give you a quick story. I had a guy best friend. We met when we were in high school, our senior year of high school. We met. Granted, I say that this man was never my boyfriend, okay? But conventional knowledge might argue this. Right. Conventional knowledge might argue against this. Roger Mel, shut your filthy mouth and let me tell the story.
This is why I used to call her my little brother, because she about to mansplain to y'all.
Shut your filthy mouth and let me explain, okay? So, Khalil.
I'm listening.
The man used to come to my house every day, right, from school. Because my house, I was homeschooled for senior year, but his school was close to my house. So, I mean, like walking distance. So he would drive to my house before he came home. And we would just talk and chat. My parents would let him in. We'd talk and chat and all of that kind of good stuff. So the summer before college came, and he was going away for college. I was staying there. He had a girlfriend. His girlfriend wanted to fight me. I was just like, I don't know why your girlfriend want to fight me. I've not done anything, but I could come up to the school and I just want to talk, right? I don't want to do nothing. I just want to talk. He was like, please don't come up here. I was like, no, I mean, you're just my friend, right? You come to my house every day after school. He was like, please don't come up here. So I went up there. She didn't want to just talk, right? I think she got a little squeamish, but summer comes and homie is still coming to my house every day. And so I'm like, this is not my man. This is just, we're friends. We're hanging out.
Y'all was going together. Stop it.
Old school
time.
All that going together.
Y'all was going together.
And then this man talk about he saw a girl at youth group that he thought was cute, and he started talking. I was like, what the heck would you do that for? I thought we kind of crossed that bridge where what we have here is just, it's enough.
So let me get this straight. So he was coming to your house every day.
Every day.
Calling every night.
Calling every night. Y'all was talking every day. Bruh, y'all go together. Y'all was together.
So and the man tried to kiss me.
Bruh. Yeah.
Well, I didn't pull back. I think like my sibling or something walked out. So my sibling or something walked out. But look, this is where it gets interesting.
Right.
So my he moves away, right? We were like, nah, look, okay, we do like each other. Let's cut the crap. We do like each other. And but he was going away for school. I was staying in Michigan. So he ends up going away and was like, I don't want a long distance relationship. And I was like, all right, well, we got to kind of cut back off of this because we like each other for real and we can't. Okay. So homie goes to school and meets this girl and they're dating or whatever. And so I think by this time we were like juniors or seniors in college. So he's dating this woman and I come into town because he's in my hometown, right? He's went to school in my hometown. I was going to school in his hometown. He was from Michigan. I was from Maryland. So, now he's back in Maryland. All my family lives there. I come for holidays. So we come for the holidays. And his now girlfriend is just like, first of all, every girlfriend used to be like, yeah, you're just going to leave me and go date her. I was like, I'm just the best friend. I don't know why y'all playing. So he's dating this girl and she's like, she's like, you need to cut her off. He was just like, what? Why would I cut her off? She was like, because you guys used to like each other and I just don't feel comfortable with this relationship. Mind you, she never met me. She never talked to me, nothing.
So she was just insecure after what?
So,
Yeah.
but wait a minute, we're not going to put too much on her now because
Okay.
he married this woman.
Okay.
So, homie was like, you know, look, I knew Unique first. She's not going nowhere. He makes the mistake because she was like, no, you're not, of pulling up to my grandmother's house to take me out to hang out. And
you out here being a whole home wrecker.
I want to say we ended up at a birthday party that his girlfriend's friends were at.
Ooh,
and I was just like, he was like, well, we might have to stay here. I was like, well, if I stay here, you know, it's a strange house. I don't know nobody here. I only know you. I came to this party with you. And if there comes somebody sleeping, look, I'm not sleeping in a house full of strangers. You're going to have to sleep in the same space where I won't got to sleep in the same bed, but you're not leaving me in no house with people I don't know. Right. Talk about go to sleep. Either I had to drive or something. But after that or whatever, I met the girlfriend. I think like she came to my church or something, but she just had this glare on her face. So then they got married, and this was the first man who was just like I was going to be his best man. So I was like, all right, bet I'm game for it. But once I met her and I saw how she kind of like, I could feel the tension with her. I told him I can't come to your wedding. And he was devastated because we've been besties since senior year, right? But he was devastated. He was like, why can't you come? I don't understand. And his mom used to call me her daughter-in-law. I was like, bro,
that's stepping over boundaries, right?
I said, if you don't see it, I don't know how to make you see it. I said, if I show up at that wedding, it will ruin that girl's wedding. And I don't want to be responsible for that. So fast forward years later, things kind of got murky again. And I told Brody, I was like, look, because at this point, you guys are married. I was like, look, I understand that we're friends and I would never do anything to jeopardize your relationship, right? I said, but I don't think you understand how close we are and how this could be perceived to your wife if she were to find out. Mm-hmm. I said, so for the health of your marriage, I think you need to take a step back. Needless to say, we are no longer best friends, or I would dare say friends at all. Now, he is still friends with my parents. So make of that what you will. Right. But yeah, I kind of just put it out there for him. And he was the one in the relationship. I was single at the time. I was like, look, I'm a single woman. I'm not ugly. You don't find me ugly. I don't find you ugly. I think that this is dangerous given our history. Right? Like
too much temptation.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I don't know. I don't know that your wife, like you would have the same conversations if your wife were present. So I don't think you would conduct yourself the same way if she were here. So I think you probably need to reconsider where we are. But that was the situation. Like,
I like you said something that I really like was you spoke about the perspective, because the perception. Mm-hmm. A person's perception is their reality. Mm-hmm. You know, you recognize that certain things could look away, certain things could be perceived away, certain things could be viewed away, which they may be innocent enough, but they could be taken out of context. Yep. For me, I'm a person that's why for me as a man, I recognize like certain things can look a particular type of way, which is why, like, as a rule of thumb for me, nobody is within arm's reach of me. There's always going to be at least an arm's distance between me and somebody else. I don't care if how long we've been cool, how cool we are. We ain't going to be up on each other. You ain't going to be up on me for somebody to come back and say they saw you leaned up over me or you was sitting in my lap, because now I got to explain this ain't what it looked like. And I think that when it comes to having, you know, friends of the opposite gender, regardless if you're single, in a relationship, engaged, entangled, whatever, don't put yourself in situations that are left open to interpretation.
Yep, you got it. Because and someone else's interpretation.
Yes, but going back to the point you initially laid out, when you have certain values and certain characters and certain morals, people know They like, nah, he ain't do that. They know right off the bat. They know you. They know what you're going for, what you're not going for. So short of someone pulling out a video or a picture, they're not going to believe that right off the bat. But you have to lead with that, and you have to have those things. I think that for a lot of us, we move through life and we don't take the time to establish morals and values from the very beginning because nobody poured those into us. And when
Yep.
no one poured those things into us, we're now operating in life incorrectly. And so now you got to get it for yourself because no one taught it to you.
Yeah. But
you
your
know,
your tail got a key point. Teach it to yourself.
yes,
You
you got to
can't
teach it to
say
yourself.
moralless and boundaryless for the rest of your life. That's a horrible way to live.
Or you have to unlearn certain maladaptive behaviors because, like, one of the things that I've
Mhm.
always found, especially like I had a particular employee, he's no longer working for me, but he was always at the center of the storm, but it was never him.
Mhm. See,
Relationships wise, he could never keep a relationship for too long. Job
you see what
wise, could
I'm
never
saying?
keep a job for too long. It's just, it's always everybody else. It was never him. And like I had to explain to him, I said, if you find yourself in the middle of the storm, chaos, calamity all the time, my guy, it ain't everyone else, it's
It ain't
you.
everybody else, big fella.
There's some things that you have to fix about yourself if you're expecting to be able to continue to survive operating
Yep.
around other people. Because
Yep.
we don't live, like you said this before, Unique. We don't live in a vacuum by ourselves. We don't live in a bubble by ourselves. We are interacting and engaging with other people. So we have to take into account how other people perceive things, how other people feel about things,
Yep.
how other people, the things that other people value. Like we have
How
to
my behaviors interact with those other people and
exactly
affect those
like
people.
those are things that you have to take into account. And I think like going, like when it comes to friendships, it is absolutely okay to have friends of the opposite sex. But again, you have to understand that that friendship cannot overshadow your relationship. If it starts to overshadow and overtake your relationship, like you said, that is a dangerous friendship because what's going to happen is now that this friendship is overshadowing your relationship, your partner now feels, that I now have to battle and jockey for my position.
Vulnerable.
Because when you are, especially like once you get married, your spouse is supposed to be the most important person in your life. You
Outside of
know,
yourself.
outside of yourself and outside of God, your spouse is supposed to be the most important person in this world. There should be nobody that should come before your spouse other than yourself and maybe your children and then maybe yourself. Because I believe in always putting, Jesus first, others second, yourself last. So your spouse should be up there priority wise. Your significant other should be up there priority wise. Nobody should come in between you and your spouse. Nobody should come before your spouse. But when you have friendships that you are potentially jeopardizing and risking your relationship for, that's not a friendship.
Nah.
That's a relationship at that point.
Yeah, at that point. And I think
That's
too, you gotta have some discernment in that thing.
yeah. That
So I mean, I think
you and that
that's
person going together at that point.
But what Unique described earlier, right? I'm gonna go back to a little bit about the story. Unique, you described the situation where you saw that, hey, what I'm doing is affecting another person, right? And because of your morals, your values, your convictions, you made a good decision that was beneficial for everybody, right? You said, hey, look, even though you can't make this decision right now, partner, I'm gonna make it for you because it's gonna benefit everybody
Well, I
in the
don't even
long
think he
run.
realized it. Like in all fairness to him, right? And I miss my friend. I don't want anybody to hear me say I don't miss him. I even told my husband, I said, I literally miss having this person in my life. He said, well, what do you miss about him? I was like, because that was my homie. Like, that was the one person who probably knew the most about me from senior year up until, my mid to late 20s. This man knew everything, right? He was just my homeboy. I talked to him like I would talk to one of my homegirls. We talked every single day. So it's like, I missed him, but I realized if we crossed that bridge, even that he didn't recognize the bridge that he was crossing, if I crossed this bridge willingly, because I knew I could see what was going on, obviously there's no coming back from this. There will never be a place where I will ever be able to be in a room and it will be on some,
A positive interaction.
hey, a positive interaction. No,
Right.
it's gonna cause chaos. And
Yeah.
so I said, you don't even recognize where this is headed, or potentially what you're doing. So I'm gonna help you out because you are married. Like, you have a family, bro.
Right.
I'm not letting you throw that away for our friendship. I just can't, like, because that's what we have. We have a friendship. I'm not letting you throw that away for this.
But unique, that's what I was speaking to. You had to make the decision, right? And so I think sometimes, when I talk to my LPCs, I always have to go back to this. I think sometimes they start to philosophize and psychologize and therapize a little too much, right?
Here you go.
Not everybody
Khalil, don't have us jump you.
Yes, listen, as a social worker, I have to work.
Don't have us jump you.
Listen, I do this because I want to remind you, not everybody has that same level of cognizant awareness of self, right?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with LPCs, they feel like everybody is self-actualized. No,
And we don't.
most
And we
people-
don't.
Listen, you gonna catch these hands. You gonna catch these hands.
We will jump you, Khalil.
Listen, Maslow. Look, most people, all right, would have chose the chaos. Most people would have chose the chaos.
You on this podcast?
No, but I love y'all too. It's not like that. I'm just trying to say most people have been trained. It's habitual for them to choose the chaos because they move with their feelings, right?
That's true.
They're not going
family
to
systems
to
therapy.
educate people like you did and be like, yo, bro, I don't want to hurt your wife. I don't want to do this. No, they're going to choose chaos because it feels good in the moment.
Okay,
Because I know
family
I'm
systems
one of those
therapy.
people. I like to feel good in the moment, right? And then I think about it later because I deal with the consequences. The consequences are usually rough. So that's what I'm trying to put to you all,
Yeah.
is that not everybody is going to make the right decisions. And
But
I
you
think
have
when
to.
we're on this show, I
You
want to
have to.
reemphasize that story Unique told is an outlier. Because a lot of people that's my friend, and my loyalty to them supersedes everything else. And they start losing it, and they make bad decisions. So I want to speak to
But
that.
that's what I'm showing you,
People who
Khalil.
make bad decisions.
The loyalty, if it were to because I was loyal to my friend, I couldn't let my friend make a wrong decision.
So you flipped it. There you go. You flipped the
I
loyalty.
couldn't. Because if I were disloyal to my friend and I were selfish, then if you selfish, I don't know if you have a friendship. If you would be selfish, it would have been selfish for me to continue. Because I could have, and I could have had it turn out just the way I want. Like I said, I was single. This man was calling my phone. I wasn't beating his number. I wasn't calling him. I wasn't beating him down. He was calling me on his free time. So I was like, I could have had that go. His wife would have not been any of the wiser. And even if she was, it wasn't on me. Right. And this is why Roger Mel say I'm a man, right? Because I told him at the end of the day, bro, you're in a marriage. I don't got nothing to lose. Yes, you got a situation. You will have to answer to her, not me. I'm single, buddy. Like I'm living life. You call my phone with the rura, I might be about it because I'm not losing anything out of this.
Yep.
So, but not everybody has those boundaries. That's what I'm speaking to.
They don't. Yes, but that's why we have shows like this where people have to develop them. Keep saying, well, I ain't like that. I don't move like that. Yeah, all of that's fine and cute till you got somebody's wife showing up at your door with a gun talking about
why you sleeping with my man. I mean, to me,
because some people crazy like that.
Yeah, they'll take it.
Some people ain't wrapped too tight. They'll show up at your place of business, at your house. Show up to your kids' school, and they really be about that. Like, oh, this the type of time you want? You want my man? Well, let's go for it. Like.
But see, this is the thing, and this is where I think that, this is where the stickiness gets into having these friendships, right? If the friendship is above the board and it's above the table, why is it that you guys, like Khalil, something you alluded to earlier, why don't y'all hang out together?
Period.
I mean, that's just where it's at. And go out of your way. Now, you may not be able to include them all the time, but if there are certain things that can put your spouse, your partner, your significant others, insecurities or beliefs at ease, do that. Now, like I said, I'm not for the toxic things such as I got to share my location all the time. I got to call every hour. I ain't for all that, because at that point you're a probation officer or a parole officer. I'm on
Yo.
house arrest at that point. I might as well be wearing an ankle monitor. But to me, I'm going to lead with respect because I demand it in return. I always go back to that respect.
Exactly.
I'm gonna lead with respect. As my spouse, I'm gonna make sure that I'm never gonna put you in a situation to look stupid.
Yep.
I'm never going to do something to disrespect or dishonor our relationship.
Mhm.
So my friendships, we're only gonna be talking about certain things. We only gonna go certain places.
Yep.
I'm gonna move a certain way because again, I don't want to disrespect what we have going on.
Period.
Now,
Period.
I like Unique said, and it's a very valid point. It is not on the friend to be the one that it is not on the friend to be the one that is keeping track of, hey, we shouldn't be. That's you as the person that is in the relationship with the person to be able to tell that friend, hey, stop, we ain't talking about that. We ain't doing that.
That's off limits.
You as the person that is in the relationship with someone has the responsibility to set the boundaries, to set the standard of what you're going for and what you're not going for.
And if that person keeps pushing up against it, you
guess what? They got to go. They got to go.
If you don't respect me.
You not only do you not respect the relationship that I'm in, but you're not respecting me because I done told you I'm not going for that. And that's where, for all of us, we have to, like Unique said, we have to have an understanding of what we're going for and what we're not going for. That you have to lead with that. Because you can't change the rules of the game halfway through the game.
No,
where we the type of friends, where we kissing on each other, we holding hands. That's my bae. That's my. I don't even play like that. And the reason I don't play like that is because eventually it stops being for play. It starts being for real. Where now people really got feelings. That's why I don't even do that work crush. Work bae. I don't do none of that. And the reason I don't do that is because, again, what happens is people start really thinking we bae. And so now because
you know why? Because your brain can't differentiate between, if you are dedicating so much time, effort, and energy to somebody, your brain can't differentiate that this is not a committed relationship. It's going to say, but you're doing all of the things that you do in a committed relationship. And so now the feelings are going to match that. Yes. Right? Your behaviors are communicating something that does not align itself with what my thinking is. So I'm going to align my thinking with those behaviors. Oh, no, we're in a relationship. So then you start to really behave like it. And that's how people get in situations where they're like, I didn't know that you really felt that way. How could you not know?
Right.
Well, they didn't know because like you both alluded to, we tend to, and I just had this conversation with somebody the other day, on Friday. For most of us, we go the path of least resistance, right? We don't always do what we need. We do what we want. And so we do, for most of us, we do the things that feel good to us. Yep. I was telling one of my employees the other day, things that matter to you, you show up for them every single time.
Oh, and
so if it matters to you, your relationship matters to you, you're gonna have that conversation. You're gonna tell your friend, hey, we ain't doing this. But also at the same time, your friend should already know. They should already have some sort of idea. There shouldn't be, like you alluded to earlier, there should be no friendship where they don't know that you're married.
Exactly.
There should be no friendship where they don't know that you're in a committed monogamous relationship. Keyword, monogamous relationship.
Yep.
Because people be out here with these, different types of relationships, these thruples and polyamorous relationships.
Different types of relationships.
Yeah, these unicorn relationships.
Because we just decided we just gonna make up our own thing. But the thing is, like I said, when you have friends, your friends should know this is my woman. They should know who your woman is.
That's it.
The name of your woman. They should know what she looked like. So there's never any confusion of, I didn't know who she was. Because again,
I ain't know. Nobody should ever say, I ain't know they was married. The heck? What are y'all talking about?
Before.
What are you guys talking about? Before every adult relationship, you be like, okay, you dating, you married, something happening. You can't just never not say, listen,
on you.
I cook dinner every night. Okay? At least you're gonna be like, what you ate for dinner as a friend? Oh, my wife made such and so. My husband don't cook. There are so many times where I better come up in that conversation that if it's not, it's like, why are you hiding me?
because now it looks some
Okay?
kind of way.
Don't make me blow that trash up because I'll blow it up. Don't make me do it. Don't make me embarrass you in front of this person because I don't know what you thought you had going on, but now you about to be embarrassed.
Before I became more evolved and stopped watching reality television, I was watching Black Ink Chicago. And this was like one of the first, I want to say the first or second season. I think it was the first season. And one of the guys that worked in the tattoo shop, Don, he wasn't married to his wife that he's married to now. They were together. They had a son and everything, but they weren't married. So this girl in the shop took a liking to him. She took a liking to him. She's a pretty girl. One thing led to another. They slept together. So they slept together at the shop.
One thing led to another. They in the bed.
And so she is having a conversation with Don's girlfriend. Didn't realize that was his girlfriend, and tells the girlfriend that they slept together. They put hands on her, and so she's like, "How did you not know we were together? I'm here all the time. Well, I didn't know y'all was together like that. I knew y'all, you was his baby mom, but I didn't know y'all was together like that. That was because again, there was no that was on Dawn. So to me, in that situation, I'm like, his girlfriend at the time his girlfriend now wife shouldn't have been mad at her.
Nah,
you should have been mad at your man because your man didn't dictate the pace. Didn't say from the very beginning.
By Dawn's head.
Yeah.
Like,
so
Dawn, you out here pretending like you just single. Really?
Right.
That's Dawn, you trying to be single? You trying to be single, Dawn? Because I'm about to help you out in a real way.
And that was the thing. Like he was moving like he was single when he really wasn't. And so moving like you're single, that's where again we as adults, and I always go back to this, because we've talked about it on several episodes about intentionality and purpose. Everything that we do has to be done with intentionality and purpose. Has to be. So if I'm out here moving in the world, people should know based off of my intentionality and purpose what I stand for and who I am. They should know right off the bat that off my intentionality and purpose, there's certain things you can't even stick to my name because people know that's not me.
Yep. You ain't coming to me a certain way.
You're not going to be able to say RJ's out here being a womanizer. RJ don't do that. Because that's what people going to say. They're going to be like, you crazy, that ain't him. He ain't do that. Short of you showing people a picture, they ain't going to believe you because they know I don't do that. RJ's out here fighting in the nightclub. Huh?
I said you might have to show him a video in this day and time.
You would need irrefutable proof for people to believe certain things sticking to my name because people know that based off my intentionality and my character and my purpose, that hey, that ain't him. Certain things just ain't him. And so like I said again, when you are moving the way you're supposed to be moving, there are certain things you never even have to worry about. And that's where, like I said, when these people who have this fear that something's going on because you're in a relationship with somebody of an opposite gender, again, those people who have those fears, there's a conversation you need to have with your partner at that point.
Right. Open.
Listen, while you was talking about all of that, I thought about this, right? You got to look at why am I doing this? Because once, and we talked about this before, at certain points of your life, when you elevate past a certain point, continuing to do things that were on a previous level of your existence, it doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't.
Once I have gotten into a marriage, this is my life partner, this is the person I am building with, or committed relationship. Because some people, they don't get married, but they're in these serious committed relationships, right? They're building stuff together.
Right.
Once I got to that point, I am looking for people who are on the same level or greater than me. Maybe this is just me.
Yes.
Maybe this is just me.
Nope.
Right? So I'm not going to be around and surrounded and influenced by people who are on levels that are beneath me.
Yep.
If you are single and single-minded, there's not much that we are going to have in common anymore. There's just not. I can't. I'm not going to put myself in a sphere of influence of you, to be influenced by you, because you're going to do things like a single person would. You're going to think of things in a single-minded way. So I just cannot be in a space where I'm going to take serious life advice from you. Now, if we are talking about business or something, that might be a little different. But if we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about friendship,
Right.
I don't know that I'm associating with you. People want to be elevated, but still be in non-elevated spaces at the same time. You can't have it both ways. You
Doesn't work
can't be
like that.
married and single at the same time.
You're either this or that.
When I got married, the reason why I cut off all of the single guys that I used to associate with is because that I knew there were going to be conversations that I would not want to entertain when I was married. Like, that's no longer appropriate. I'm past that stage in my life. You can't, I don't want to engage with you in that same way. So I've gotten people now that I'm married. People are wild. Let's just put that out there.
Right.
Men always come up to me, oh, you can't have a friend. Baby, there's no amount of friendship that you can offer me that's going to supersede that of the relationship I have with my husband. It's just not. That space for that type of friendship is already occupied. I don't need that type of friend in my life. I need friends in my life now that are like, okay, as a married couple, this is how we do this. As a person in a committed relationship, this is how we do that. This is how I navigate these different conflict arenas. This is how I manage this. I'm not coming to you for a coddling session. Again, I have people for that. I don't need you there. So many times we don't recognize the importance of understanding why people are in our lives. I'm not talking about a quid pro quo. I'm in here because I need you for something. I know if I was going through something, marriage wise, right? Blended family wise. I'm calling Khalil. Khalil, look, this is the situation.
Mhm.
I need some, big brother advice on this. Making sure that I'm hearing things the right way and I'm perceiving them in a right way, right? You're in this situation.
Right.
You know you've been there. You live that life, right? You got a blended family. You know getting married. You know how, okay, as an adult, I didn't get married in my 20s. I got married as a grown person with life have already happened. I'm calling Khalil, right? But I know that that's the place that I can trust Khalil with. If I'm like, RJ, I need, somebody who gonna give me some sage advice on something that's gonna be non-biased, that's gonna be able to hit me with something like, yo, that might be a you thing, you off a little bit. I'm gonna hit Raja with that because I know Raja's not gonna give me no fluke information and just because he's trying to appease me. But that's the place that they occupy in my life, right? I don't just have guy friends or even female friends, women friends in my life for just random purposes.
Right.
Everybody who's in my life is intentional. They're specific. I know which girlfriends I'm calling up for certain things. I have some all-weather friends who I can call up about anything, right? But there are some friends that I say, okay, I need to strategize. I need to plan. I need to deal with the emotional stuff. If I cannot trust you in that space of my life where I am presently, I've outgrown you. And that's okay. It does not mean you're less of a person. It just means that I've elevated to a space that you may not be able to accompany me in. When the young man, I ain't even going to use him specifically. We hear about rappers all the time getting shot and killed. And when we ask why did they get shot and killed, because they still trying to live in the hood and do hood rat things. You are a multi-millionaire superstar. You can't operate like you a hood boy still shooting dice and selling drugs on the corner. You can't move like that.
Nope.
And you wonder why you got shot and killed because somebody like, I'm going to knock you off your square. Why? Because that's hood mentality.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to shoot this man out because I could take his block. Or I could take his girl. Right? I could take his status. When you reach a certain level, shooting him out is not going to make him lose his status. Right? When was his name? Takeoff? When he got shot, that boy didn't get elevated and now become the best rapper. No, you just went to jail like a common criminal.
Right.
When Young Dolph got killed, it wasn't like, oh, now I got Young Dolph woman, I got Young Dolph money, I got Young Dolph celebrity status. That wasn't the case. You're just another person who killed another black man at that point. At some point, people was mad at Oprah. Oprah got on and left everybody. I'm not saying Oprah's dealings are right or wrong, but Oprah realized I got a different audience now. So I got to move a little bit differently in
Right.
order to speak to the person who are influenced the most by me. She wasn't influencing the people she used to at WJZ TV in Baltimore no more. She was syndicated. She was on a national level. I'm not
Right. I'm
operating
on
like I'm talking
national
to the
now.
people of Baltimore no more.
Right.
I'm operating like
Right.
I'm talking to women around the world. So I got to speak a little differently. I got to wear my hair differently. I can't go back and visit the hood every day
Yeah.
because I'm on different stages. It's the same in relationships. Once you get to a place, you can no longer revisit the hood and still expect you're going to still have the same street cred. You don't blend in this environment anymore. You stick out. And that's okay. Stop revisiting places that you've elevated from.
Wow.
I've elevated from that. I'm not a single girly. I'm not going to pretend like I understand the single girly struggle. I'm not going to pretend that I understand how to move like a single girl no more. That's just not my reality anymore. I can't relate. Only thing I have for you are old stories and relics.
That's right.
That's it.
Wow. Now that's some knowledge right there, Unique. Hey, look, that right there belongs in on a poster somewhere, right? That right there.
Nah, but I mean,
Now
that's
bringing it
just
back down to earth.
when and I'm not saying marriage is the pinnacle of relationship status. I'm not that girl. I think marriage is one of the most beautiful things you can do and lend yourself to with a person, right? Or this deep commitment to a person. I think that's the most beautiful and selfless thing you will ever do in your life, next to birthing a child. And I mean that for men and women, right? Parenting or birthing or raising a child, that marriage and commitment to someone is the most selfless act you will do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, you got to understand the seriousness of that and be willing to say nothing jeopardizes this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've committed to do life with this person and you just unfortunately don't measure up. I love my parents to death. Like if they were to die tomorrow, y'all wouldn't see me on this podcast for about 6 months.
Mhm.
Okay?
Right.
But if I lost my husband, it's probably going to be like a year, 2, before I come back. Because the level of connection that I have with them, with my husband, is different from the level of connection that I share with anybody else. So I'm going to consider his feelings, his thoughts, way more than I'm considering anybody else. And I love my family. Anybody who knows me knows I love my family. People thought I was an only child because I love my parents like they belong to me. Okay? And it's 5 of us. But my marriage, my parents know. They've even said, Unique, nothing. We don't even come above that. And so I think I'm gonna let a friend come above that. If my parents don't come above my marriage, baby, get in line. Because you got quite a few people who gonna jump in front of you, who I'm gonna take something from, and besides you, not a friendship. And I don't care if I've been your friend since I came out the womb, baby. I came in this world a singleton. You just collateral at that point. If you can't understand that this relationship is the most important, then you don't understand me.
So we're going to end the conversation there. This is Try Not to Overthink It signing out. I'm RJ.
I'm Unique.
I'm Khalil. I think I know who I am. I don't know if RJ does.
If you like what you heard, we ask that you, again, like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on because you don't want to miss the conversations, the topics, the debates that we have here on the channel. For those of you who are already a part of the tribe, we love you and we appreciate you. If you have not had the opportunity to subscribe and follow us on TikTok and on Instagram, the links are down below. We drop content on social media every single day, drop new episodes every single week. If you would like to listen to us instead of watch us, I don't know why you would, because you miss the antics and we are some great looking people. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Audible, pretty much everywhere you can get your audio file, we can be located. This is us signing out, and we will catch you next time. Peace.